Alrighty, everybody, welcome into another episode of the Full Press Saints podcast over here on the Full Press Coverage Network. Once again, it is your host, Alec, here today with my boy, Dayton. Dayton, before we get into all this draft talk today, which I know you're super excited about, first and foremost, how you doing, man?
Oh, not bad. Thanks for
asking. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do here.
How are you?
Chill. Semesters are almost over, so...
Oh,
a lot more free time to get a lot more work done with this.
Yes.
So I'm excited,
it's peak draft season as well.
Exactly.
Which makes me want to put on my best Ric Flair impersonation.
Woo! Give me two to Ric Flair, of course.
Woo!
But
we're like 9 days away from
single
round
digits.
Number one.
Single digits, and yeah, and as you guys could probably tell, today is going to be a very draft-centric, heavily influenced episode today. We'll go through two different versions of the Saints mock draft, 7 full rounds. That's going to be lots of fun. Got some Saints news we'll cover very briefly here in the beginning of the episode. And besides that, hey, it's going to be a fun episode just talking the draft, prospects, some guys Dayton and I and myself like and are super excited about. So... let's get right into it, Dayton. First of all, let's talk about some of these Tulane signings. The Saints have made earlier today, and then I believe the other one was a few days ago, if I'm correct.
Yeah, so the first signing happened on Thursday when the Saints signed wide receiver Jalen Mccleskey, who played a majority of his college career at Oklahoma State, ended up being a grad transfer at Tulane. He was an undrafted free agent last year, 2020. He's only 23 years old. He was on the Atlanta Falcons off-season training camp squad and was cut. But I really like this signing just because he really is kind of a pristine kind of slot. Shorter, he's 5'10", 178 pounds. Like he's kind of a smaller frame, similar to, not as short as obviously, but Devonte Harris, electrifying receiver. Really like his game. Obviously shined at Tulane, but also had a really good career at Oklahoma State, which is a pristine school there as well. So really solid. And then earlier today, also out of Tulane, they signed Christian. Let me get his name, make sure I'm not butchering it. Yeah, Christian Montano, who actually played most of his time at Brown University, Ivy League school, and he was a grad transfer also for Tulane, and he played a lot of guard at Tulane for his last year. He started all 13 games for them. And I'm just reading this from Bob Rose. Shout out to Bob Rose for the Saints News Network, SI.com. He sums it up very perfectly for Montano, saying that he wins most of his battles with excellent technique and hand placement, along with his upper body strength. He's quick to a stance after the snap and shows good awareness of pass rush combinations. The only knock on him, not great athleticism to be effective pulling during run blocking. So, I really like the depth in signing both of these guys. This is essentially like signing two undrafted rookie free agents after this upcoming draft. But, you sign them early before you really know what you're going to get after this upcoming draft. You kind of already know these guys. You have a lot of tape on them. Also, Montano was on a practice squad last year for the Steelers. He was one of the final cuts, so he was on their training camp roster. But, both those guys, I think it's good depth findings. This late in the offseason and also just before the actual draft hit. So kind of puts some pieces in place before the draft, makes the Saints not need to reach for either one of those positions because now they have some young depth. So I like the signings.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Homegrown bodies down there at Tulane University. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Not LSU guys, which I know a lot of Saints fans have wanted several LSU players that the Saints just didn't take. But hey, we'll take Tulane. Nothing wrong with Tulane. Right. Some other Saints news before we get into all this draft stuff. The Saints, like most NFL teams, have actually opted out of the OTA workouts. Due to the COVID-19, they still want a mostly what's the word?
Virtual.
Thank you. Virtual off season. The NFL has a plan put out to where they're going to have at least some in-person workouts and field work. But the Saints, I believe the Lions, the Patriots, the Seahawks, some other teams have
Buccaneers as well. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Tampa did that as well. They all put out a statement saying that they're going to opt out of OTAs. Which, hey, it's voluntary. There's no shame in not going. It's totally up to the players. So I respect that.
And the one thing I've learned too, like one of the most important things I've learned about just the I guess quote unquote inside unquote of the NFL and the players. And I learned this back when Randy Moss signed with, I think it was the Titans or I'm pretty sure that with his last team, because Randy Moss said he was retiring, ends up signing a small deal with the Titans in late August.
San Fran.
Oh.
Yeah, 2012 was his last year.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. So, and I learned through that is how much NFL players hate training camp.
Yeah.
And OTA. It's the veterans mainly. I've been through it 5 or 6 times or even more throughout their careers. They just dread it. So, and I don't blame them, because a lot of it is just exhausting days where you're going over stuff you already know, especially if you've been with the same team forever. Obviously a lot of work. So, if these players are already in shape, they're good to go, especially with their off-season regimens that they use themselves. I totally understand them not wanting to do this. So, and of course, there is still, even though vaccines are getting pumped out, there is still a little bit of a pandemic going on right now. So,
still a little bit.
Should be a little safe. So, I respect that.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I think really quick here, I think Bruce Arians mentioned it last week when the Bucs released a statement that OTA is really for the younger guys, the older veterans. They know their place. They're not there to impress anybody. The coaches know who they are. So this is really just for younger guys to get acquainted with their new team, new offense, new system, or defense. So, I mean, a veteran team like New Orleans, where they really did bring in a whole lot of new faces throughout the offseason, just makes sense that, a lot of the players aren't going to be there. But hey, again, it's voluntary. It's up to them. There's no judgment as far as if they do or don't. So
now these rookies are going to need to be going through rookie training camp. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. And that, I think, is a good segue into the
speaking of rookies, right? So let's get right into it. Dane, I'll let you take it away with the 2 different variations we have as far as mock drafts go. But I will just basically play the role of commissioner. I'll tell you what round we're in. But hey, It's all you. Take it away, my good friend, and let's hear some good draft talk here.
So, there's 3 main mock draft simulators you guys can find, and I'm sure most of you listening, or a lot of you listening, have used all 3. The Draft Network, to me, they are the godfathers of mock draft simulators. Their mock draft machine is great. It's been used heavily by most draft junkies over the last few years. And if you are subscribed to their premium, you can get, and it's only $30. I haven't paid it just because, I don't know. I don't think I'd use it enough to honestly justify the $30 payment. And it's not that I'm a cheapskate, kind of am, but I think next year I definitely will. But I mean, I can just kind of find other resources for it, and I don't use mock draft simulators that much, but I do love utilizing trades when needed, so that's why I also want to do a Pro Football Network mock draft simulator, PFN. They also have a really good mock draft simulator. You can do trades. You don't have to pay for any subscription for that. The other one that is pretty popular is Pro Football Focus, PFF, as it's well known. They also have a mock draft simulator. I'm not sure if you can do trades or not. I haven't done. I've seen their mocks posted by other people using the mock draft simulator, and they grade your draft pick, which is pretty nice and cool. Except I saw somebody do a mock draft one time, and I think it was for the Steelers. It might have even been the Saints, and they drafted a quarterback every single pick, and every single pick was A+ by PFF. So I don't know how the grading system really works for them. I've seen Tevin Jenkins be drafted 28th overall or like 29th or something, and it was like a C+ draft grade for that. And so I don't really care much for the draft grade, so that's mainly the reason why I haven't used PFF at all. And Won't be using them, but we're going to start out using the Draft Network mock draft machine. It's going to be 7 rounds for the Saints. No trades on this one. Pretty much I'll just let you guys know who's gone and who's available for the Saints. And Alec brought this up before we started recording as well. Caleb Farley. The likeliness of him falling to the Saints in real life is pretty good right now because of his injury concerns, especially with the back. I think the only way he's drafted before he gets to 28 to the Saints is if the Jets snag him at 23. Other than that, I could definitely see Farley falling 28 to the Saints unless the team wants to kind of draft up and jump anybody for him, because that can happen. That doesn't happen fairly often in the NFL, where it's kind of mid to late 20s people kind of jump in. But if a player, because Farley is a top 10 talent when healthy, it's just a very big injury concern with that back. So
and you got to think, if teams want to trade back into the first round, that 5th-year option is pretty huge for a rookie corner.
Exactly, especially with the way things are shaping up now with cornerbacks getting money. So that's a good point as well. And first round, if you think Farley can drop into the second round, you can get him, because that'll save you money, and then you probably won't have to sacrifice as much draft capital, if any. So but that leads me into, I guarantee you Caleb Farley will be available for the Saints in the mock draft simulator here for TDN. They always have him. I think they have him ranked like 35th on their overall player board. So he very rarely ever gets picked before 28 for the Saints. So if he's there, he very, very may well be the draft pick, because I think he will be. But we're going to get it started. I got it going. The pick speed is fast. So essentially every team is just picking right away. So I just click start. Of course, Trevor Lawrence going number 1 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Zach Wilson went 2nd overall to the New York Jets, which many believe, myself included, that is going to be how it will go. Zach Wilson number 2. Trevor Lawrence has been the consensus number 1 pick since 2019. Wow. Penei Sewell went 3rd overall to the San Francisco 49ers. This is wow.
Whack.
I kind of want to restart this, because the 49ers didn't trade up to number 3 to pick. As good as Sewell is, they didn't trade up for him. Kyle Pitts go 4th overall, which I think if the Falcons don't trade out of that spot, that will be the pick. Jamar Chase to the Bengals. Elijah Vera Tucker, offensive lineman from USC, goes 6th overall to the Dolphins. Jalen Waddle, 7th to the Lions. Rashawn Slater, 8th to the Panthers, which I think is very likely. Steal right here for the Broncos. They get Justin Fields at 9. Patrick Surtain goes to the Cowboys at 10, which I think is going to be their smartest pick. Devonte Smith, 11th to the Giants, which Dave Gettleman has said he loves Devonte Smith. I could definitely see that happening. J.C. Horn, 12th to the Eagles. That's a guy that is on a lot of Saints fans' radar because of how talented he is for the cornerback need for the Saints, and then also he's the son of Joe Horn, of course. Tevin Jenkins, 14th. Yeah, he's an absolute stud. Christian Darrisaw goes 13th. Tevin Jenkins, 14th. Rashad Bateman, 15th. Caleb Farley went 16th to the Arizona Cardinals. So there you go. My whole spiel at the beginning gets thrown out. But yeah, I think that makes sense too, because
that makes sense.
They really didn't have Darrisaw. Jenkins have been taken. Slater's been taken. And then you get Horn and Surtain being taken as well. So that was, I think, the smartest pick for the Cardinals. Christian Barmore goes 17th to the Raiders. Jalen Phillips goes 18th to the Dolphins. I like that pick a lot. Micah Parsons goes to the Washington R-Words. Trey Lance, 20th overall to the Bears. That is actually perfect for them. They just sit. They don't give up anything. Greg Newsome, darn, I was hoping that he would fall. Goes to the Colts at 21. Trayvon Moehrig goes 22nd to the Titans. Great safety out of TCU. Zaven Collins goes 23rd to the Jets. Najee Harris, which I think is a likely pick there for the Steelers at 24. Elijah Moore goes to the Jaguars at 25. Eric Stokes. So that's already, 5 cornerbacks off the board? Yeah, 5 cornerbacks off the board already. And Kwity Paye goes 27 to the Ravens, which I think is a steal right there. I think Kwity Paye is a top 20, top 25 talent. So, this leaves us with the Saints. There's a guy at the top of the board who has not been drafted yet. McCorkle Jones, quarterback out of Alabama. I think it's a very interesting. Very interesting.
Because it seems Sean is very high on Mac Jones.
Yes.
It seems he's very high on Mac. And the word on the street is that if if it's not linebacker or corner, and if the one guy that were to fall would be Mac Jones, you would expect the Saints to be aggressive as far as getting him.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's interesting.
And Sean Payton should be interested in Mac Jones simply off the fact that his game size is so much different than that of Drew Brees, and the arm talent that you see out of Mac Jones with the deep and intermediate routes is something that the Saints have missed for the last few years. So I think it's very intriguing for Sean to get back into that groove.
Hey, and let's just say if Jameis were to ball out, hey, you don't have to pay Jameis next offseason.
Exactly. That's a good point too. And then another very interesting process of Azeez Ojulari, edge out of Georgia, talented player. He's also here. Jeremiah Owusu-Karamoah, JOK as we like to call him, out of Notre Dame. High motor, very athletic linebacker, a hybrid guy. I wouldn't say he's perfect for the Saints system, but next to Demario Davis and what the Saints need in terms of what they lost with the exiting of Quan Alexander. JOK would be a great pick here. So this is close. Also, Jamin Davis, linebacker out of Kentucky, is also there. He's a solid linebacker. So these are some really good options here for the Saints. Also, Joe Tryon, I really like. He's an edge outside linebacker kind of combo out of University of Washington. He is also sitting here on the board. So this is tough.
Why couldn't somebody overvalue Mac Jones and take him before 28?
Exactly. I would have loved that.
And I will say, Mac Jones, to me, he's QB4. He's QB4, and the value at 28 to pick him would be that's hard to pass up.
You have Jones over Lance?
No, Lance over Jones. Oh no, I'm tripping. 5. My bad. My math is off.
Just making sure. I mean, if you have Jones over Lance, I mean, I could see the reasoning behind it, but I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, correct. Yeah, my math was just off.
No, you're good. You're good. So that is very interesting. I mean, because Mac Jones could very well go 24th to the Steelers, right? If they wanted to go quarterback to kind of be the next in line once Big Ben finally retires, which should be within the next couple of years. So this is tough. This is really tough. So it's either Mac Jones or JOK, I think, is the pick right here. And it's really, really tough.
It wouldn't be so hard if Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis weren't so on board with Mac Jones.
Exactly.
Because I truthfully, I feel like if Mac Jones falls, if he really were to fall that low, if he falls to 28, I think they would pounce on him in a heartbeat.
I think so too.
But the need is Jeremiah.
Right. And that's the other thing too. So let me see real quick. If JOK is still here, I mean the linebacker, Nick Bolton, Gibral, Cox, and Cox could definitely very well be available at 60. So I think the depth for linebacker is decent. Depth for quarterback obviously is kind of going down now. But you still have Jones available.
F it, dude. F it.
You want to go Mac Jones? You want to go McCorkle Jones?
Let's take
I like
it.
I like it. All right. With the 20th overall pick in this 2021 mock draft simulator, the New Orleans Saints select Mac Jones, quarterback out of Alabama. I'll do my best little Mel Kiper, Todd McShay little analysis like they like to do after every draft pick. You look at Mac Jones, obviously surrounded by a lot of talent here down there in Alabama. Jalen Waddle, Devonte Smith. Of course, he played also with he didn't throw much to them, but Henry Ruggs the year before and Jerry Jeudy. So he's just been surrounded by great talent, especially there on the offensive line. He has very, very good deep accuracy, which the Saints have missed a lot. He's got a strong arm, very high football IQ, obviously just a smart guy overall. And I think that he would be a very good, not only successor to Drew Brees, but also be able to let Sean Payton be flexible with what offense he wants to utilize going forward. Because Mac Jones, he's a baller. His limitations, I mean, because he was surrounded by so much talent at Alabama, he tends to lock onto receivers. His read progression, there's a lot more to be desired there. But pretty much every rookie quarterback you could say that with, besides the, like the Andrew Lucks of the world, the top prospects. So, but I like that pick at 28. Mac Jones' value at 28 is just fantastic. So, Mac Jones is the first pick for the Saints. Now, we're up to pick 60. Let me see if anybody interesting has gone. Diami Brown, wide receiver out of North Carolina. He just went 54th overall. 53rd was Brady Christensen, offensive tackle for BYU. I've seen him fall out of the top 70 before, so but he's definitely worth more in the 50s. Amari Rodgers goes 52nd overall to the Bears, so they get a new quarterback and a new wide receiver. Aaron Robinson, a UCF cornerback, he went 51st overall. Nick Bolton went 48th to the Raiders. Rondale Moore went 47th to the Chargers. Davis Mills, quarterback out of Stanford, he went to the Patriots at 46. Creed Humphrey goes to the Cowboys. He's one of the better physical interior offensive linemen here in the draft. Wyatt Davis won a pick right before him out of Ohio State. Baron Browning, surprising actually, he went 40th overall. Terrence Marshall and Kadarius Toney were back-to-back picks. So let me see, actually. Is there a Micah Parsons? There's a linebacker that... Where is he? Oh, no. Nick Bolton went 40. Who am I thinking of?
Gibral?
Yeah, Cox is still available. Let me double check linebackers if I'm forgetting anybody. Yeah, Jabril Cox is the best linebacker available right now. Let me look at cornerback. There's been kind of a run on Asante Samuel Jr. is there at cornerback.
Is he still there?
He is still there. Asante Samuel Jr. is available. Let me see edge. Peyton Turner out of Houston. Ronnie Perkins out of Oklahoma. Any good wide receivers? Not really. Amon-Ra St. Brown is still there. Tylan Wallace. I think we can get them later. So I think it's linebacker right now that we should go with. I mean,
Agreed.
Cornerback. I just wish there was. I mean, but cornerback is Asante Samuel Jr. is solid too.
He is, but I feel like the depth at linebacker to me is a lot more concerning than the depth at corner. Just because. Yeah. I mean, just because at least, with the Saints, they have the ability to roll out Chauncey Gardner-Johnson at the nickel. And while you aren't totally confident in Patrick Robinson and P.J. Williams, they both can play on the outside. In particular, Patrick Robinson looked really good last year when he filled in for Janoris Jenkins.
Yeah.
I'm a little more confident in the corner depth than I am at linebacker just because...
Sure.
And we could bring Quan back for all we know, but I think Ross Jackson over on the Canal Street pointed out the Saints have had several meetings with Jabril Cox, and to pair him with DeMario and just to learn from him, I think that just is too great of an opportunity to pass up.
I think so too. And speaking of Ross Jackson, I know you just put out a very late night mock draft last night, and yeah, he got JOK at 28 for the Saints linebacker. So I think linebacker is going to be the move, because JOK would have been the pick there had and that's who I was gonna see. Where did JOK get drafted? I bet you got picked he goes to the Packers at 29.
Yeah.
And then Ojulari went 30th to the Bills, which I like that a lot. Davis went 31st to the, so you got JOK and Davis going pretty much almost back to back. So
yeah, we got QB1 in the future, we're good.
Exactly. So I think the move here is Jabril Cox. Then
agreed.
6'3", 230-pound linebacker out of LSU. So here's an LSU guy going to the Saints. He played for North Dakota State before he actually came over to LSU. So he's another two-school guy. I think the Saints like those guys a lot. But yeah, great cover. So I'm going to make the draft. I'm going to make the pick. With the 60th overall selection in the 2021 Saints FPC mock draft, the New Orleans Saints select Jabril Cox, linebacker out of LSU. Great coverage guy. He's got good size. He is perfect for a 4-3 linebacker. I mean, he's probably going to be playing a little bit of middle, but probably a lot of Sam, because you love having DeMario Davis kind of being that hybrid there in the middle. So I like this pick. I think not only is it depth, but it's also just another exciting player that can make plays on defense, which the Saints really need, especially with the loss of Quan Alexander. Who knows if he's going to come back? So we'll see. So we're at 98th overall now. See if anybody interesting has gone. Tutu Atwell went 91st to the Cleveland Browns. Paulson Adebo out of Stanford, cornerback. Ross Jackson also likes him a lot. He went 90th to the Vikings. Tylan Wallace went 86 to the Jets. They snipe us again. Amon-Ra St. Brown won a pick right before that to the Titans. Quincy Roche, great edge out of Miami. He went 80th to the Raiders. Oh, man, a lot of good players were picked, unfortunately. Asante Samuel Jr. went 71st to the Broncos. Gregory Rousseau went 68th to the Falcons. Darn, I don't want that to happen. Ronnie Perkins went to the Jets. Yeah, crazy. Okay, so the best player available right now, according to TDN's board, is Kellen Mond, quarterback out of Texas A&M. Saints, we've already picked our quarterback anyway. So, man, so let's see. Best available cornerback. You got Elijah Griffin, cornerback out of USC. Trill Williams out of Syracuse, who I like a lot. He is, your perfect mold for a starting outside cornerback, which is what the Saints do need. Sean Wade is there. Man, this is tough. Let's see wide receivers. Frank Darby out of Arizona State. Seth Williams out of Auburn. I do like his game. Des Fitzpatrick also. The more I watch Des Fitzpatrick and the more I look up him, I think that he would be a great complement next to Michael Thomas because he's a 6'2", very nice possession type receiver, and he's one of the best route runners in the league in the draft. So. Let's see. Any good edge? Not really. How about safety? Saints. Hamza Nasir-Lee-Dean. I can never get his name right, but out of Florida State, he's fantastic. He's a great hybrid guy. Yeah, I mean he's got the size of a linebacker as well. So, I mean, I would really be inclined for him if we hadn't gotten a linebacker yet, but we do. So,
what about tackle? Offensive tackle?
Yeah, offensive tackle would be good. Let's see. James Hudson out of Cincinnati. Walker Little out of Stanford. Hold on. Walker Little is still here. The only reason Walker Little is so far down on TDN's board is because of his injury history, and he opted out of the 2020 season. So he doesn't really have that much just tape, so to speak. But he's 6'7", 310 pounds. I mean, this dude is massive. He was a 5-star high school tackle. But yeah, he had a knee injury September of 19, and he hasn't played since then. So he really has 2 full seasons where he hasn't played football. So he, regardless if he gets drafted, he's going to be rusty. I've drafted him in a few Twitter mock drafts that I've done, but never for the Saints. So this is tough. Ben Cleveland is also there out of Georgia, interior offensive lineman. Trey Sermon, running back out of Ohio State. This is tough. Hunter Long, tight end out of Boston College. I do like, let's see. There's a couple guys I like. Jay Tufele out of USC, the D lineman. He's 6'3", 315. Versatile too. He can really play in any defensive front. This is really tough. Yeah, no, the cornerbacks, all the good cornerbacks are gone. Most of the good edge guys are gone. I do like Patrick Jones out of Pittsburgh, which I've talked to Ross about, but I feel like we can get Patrick Jones either at 105 or because the Saints don't have a 5th, right? Is that what it is? We don't have a 5th. We have a 4th though. Which one did we trade for Quan? Whichever one we traded for Quan is what we don't have, which I'm pretty sure is the 5th. So I think we get Patrick Jones in the 4th. Because the Saints are picking here at 98. They also have a pick at 105. So our options are pretty open. Oh, boy. What are you thinking, man? Anybody that I said kind of pop out to you?
Shoot. What about, man, we really sacrificed cornerbacks for Mac Jones, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, we really did.
Okay, what about... Man. Who's left on the board? Who's the best player on the board right now?
Best player on the board right now, other than Kellen Mond, is going to be Ben Cleveland, interior offensive lineman out of Georgia. Trey Sermon, running back out of Ohio State. Hamza Nasir-Lee-Dean, safety out of Florida State. You see, all the tape I watch on him, I never hear his name pronounced. So, to be honest, I actually don't quite know how to say his last name. So, I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. Super talented player, though. He's a good hybrid safety. Now, that's the thing. Safety is obviously a need for the Saints, but is strong safety like the size? I guess it is, since Malcolm Jenkins is older.
He's getting up there.
He's getting up there.
He can still play at a high level. What about the interior defensive line? Anybody worth adding here in the third?
Defensive line. Yeah, Jay Tufele, as I mentioned. I really like him out of USC. Tyler Shelvin out of LSU is also there. And Alim McNeil. So I think we can get one of these guys at 105. I think we should go interior D-line. The best of those three guys available at 105, I think, is who we should pick.
Okay, well, let's go with...
those three guys are really solid. So that's the thing. Do we really reach and go Trey Sermon? We don't need a running back. But Latavius Murray, I mean, who knows? Alvin Kamara's got that fat contract. Never
I think it's free agent after this year,
running backs, but yeah.
Who's best corner on the board?
Best corner on the board. Elijah Griffin out of USC. Trill Williams, Syracuse cornerback. Sean Wade is still there too. Israel Mukuamu out of South Carolina. Robert Rochelle out of Central Arkansas. I don't know if any of those guys are outside though. No, yeah. Rochelle. He's a man-to-man. He'd be decent in our system, but
is he a reach at 98 though?
He'd be a reach. He's their 120th overall guy, and I think that's even high for him. So
yeah. Okay, you know what? Let's go with dang. It's hard. It's a lot harder than you would think it is. Okay, let's go with... I'm stumped, honestly.
This is tough. I wish I could throw up a poll, but we wouldn't get results in quick enough for Twitter, so...
Yeah, just commando it.
Okay, I'm going to go Hamza...
Go with the best guy.
Nasirildeen. I think that he is the best guy for us.
Okay.
So, and just to quickly go over, again, he's got the body of he's 6'3", 210 pounds. And this is from TDN's summary player profile. He can serve the role of tight end neutralizer, playing an overhang role, playing man coverage against running backs, and playing the box and operate from deeper alignments. If that doesn't sound like a Demario Davis / Quan Alexander type player to you, I mean, I don't know what does. I mean, Quan Alexander obviously really suffered in run support for us, but his pass coverage was fantastic. Of course, that's what Demario Davis is known for as well. Also, it says that he takes terrific angles, is versatile, and his presence can add new layers to the defense of the team that drafts him. He did have an ACL tear late in 2019, and he only played in 2 games in 2020. So I think but he's got great ball skills. He's a great coverage guy. So he could definitely be a safety linebacker hybrid type guy for us and play a lot in the box. So Chauncey Gardner-Johnson almost hybrid, but he would be more so serving as a kind of linebacker support guy. So I'm going to draft him here with the 98th overall selection. New Orleans Saints go Hamza Nasirildeen. Hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. Now we're back up at 105. Kellen Mond went 102 to the 49ers. And none of those interior defensive linemen went. So I think that it's a good time to go interior defensive lineman. The loss of Sheldon Rankins, of course, affected the team quite a bit.
Malcolm Brown also.
And Malcolm Brown, of course, he was a cut casualty. Or no, he ended up being traded. He was going to be a cut casualty. Ends up getting traded to the Jaguars for a 7th.
Yep.
So that's the question. Jay Tufele, Tyler Shelvin, Alan McNeil. All of these guys are really solid. Tufele is my personal favorite. Shelvin, of course, is out of LSU, so he is but he can play in either 3-4 or 4-3. He's also 6'3", 360, and these guys are huge. Whereas Tufele is 6'3", 315. And he's got a little bit better athleticism. McNeil has been mocked to the Saints quite a bit. He's 6'2", 315. Also a 1 technique in the 4-3 setup. So I think any of those 3 guys would be solid. Still no great wide receivers, I think.
Yeah, I think you should go with one of those top 3 interior guys.
I'm gonna go with Tufele. Yeah, I like it a lot. They need that help.
Yeah, and they've been doing a lot of the offseason interviews. I mean, Chris has been on spot with so many of the different interviews and the guys they hosted, and a lot of them were the interior defensive linemen for this exact reason.
Yeah, and I need to hold on. I need to look up how to pronounce J Tufele. Let's see if it gives me the. Nah, I don't think it's gonna give me anything. Let's see the highlights. Let's see. J Tufele. There we go.
That's
much
fancy.
better. J Tufele is going to be the 105th overall pick in this 2021 mock draft simulator here on the Saints FPC podcast, selected by the New Orleans Saints. And yeah, that highlight was him sacking Justin Herbert too, by the way.
I like it.
There you go. Great. So I think that so far this draft is going very, very well for the Saints so far. Just to review real quick, we got Mac Jones at 28, Gibral Cox at 60, Hamza Nasir-Ladin, safety out of Florida State at 98, and then, I already forgot how to pronounce his name, but what did it say? J Tufele?
Tufele.
J
So it's
Tufele.
fancy. It fits New
I
Orleans,
like it.
too.
I think so, too.
Weirdly, it fits New Orleans. I like it.
Yes, I like it. So let's see. Anybody of note going? Sean Wade went 126 to the Titans. The Saints are back up at 133 right now. Rochelle went 118 to the Chargers. Trill Williams went 117th. McNeil went 113th to the Panthers. Ardarius Washington, good safety out of TCU. Kyle Trask went 108 to the Falcons.
Wow.
And Trey Sermon went 107. And, of course, the pick right after ours was Tyler Shelvin going to the Jaguars. So there you go. We were on the right track for sure. Best players left. Running back out of Oklahoma. Got Ramondre Stevenson. Marvin Wilson, defensive line out of Florida State. Patrick Jones, edge out of Pittsburgh. This is very, very intriguing for me. I do like his game a lot. Great run support guy, and that fits the mold for the Saints, but he also has really, really good speed for his size and athleticism. He's 6'4.5", 264 pounds. He was I believe he was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, or was at least first team, because he had 24 tackles for loss and 17.5 sacks in his 22 games in his junior and senior campaign combined. So it's really freaking solid. Jacoby Stevens, safety out of LSU. We've already got safety, though. So, yeah, the biggest need for the Saints right now, cornerback, wide receiver, edge. Unfortunately, the cornerback board is just not falling well for us. I do like Rodarius Williams out of Oklahoma State. Also a guy with injury concerns, though. Man, this is tough. Yeah, we haven't drafted a single cornerback. But also wide receiver and edge are a need. Frank Darby and Seth Williams are still there, so we can probably wait. Oh, no, we don't have the 5th. So this is tough. I don't know if we reach for a cornerback right now or if we
just
go
take
with
BPA.
edge. Yeah, I think BPA right here for the Saints is going to be Patrick Jones, because according to the board, don't need a running back, already drafted interior defensive line, and that leaves Patrick Jones as the next best player. Don't need a safety. Again, don't need a running back. Frank Darby is down there, or up here, as one of the best players too. Dylan Moses is somehow still on the board. Linebacker out of Alabama. I really like him. I think that he's a second-round prospect, but what do I know? I think it's good. I'm going to go Patrick Jones here for the Saints, and we're just going to have to hope a really good cornerback falls, because I really can't reach for any of these cornerbacks right now. So we're going to go Patrick Jones. He is also a need at edge. The loss of Trey Hendrickson and the uncertainty with Marcus Davenport. Edge is needed for the Saints. So we go Patrick Jones, edge out of Pittsburgh. Again, good size, good physicality, but also just great athleticism and speed, and he fits the mold as a run stopper edge who can also get to the quarterback when needed. So I like it a lot. I think that he'd get good competition for Marcus Davenport. So some cornerbacks and wide receivers going off the board right now. Let me see if anybody crazy going or anything. No, nobody of note as of right now. The Bengals just drafted a quarterback at 190. Interesting. Sam Ehlinger goes 199 to the Vikings. That's interesting.
Good. Yuck.
Saints coming up. Yeah, right, exactly. Saints coming up at pick 218. All right. Okay. Some good guys left. Cornell Powell, wide receiver out of Clemson. He's pretty solid. 6 foot even, 205. Definitely a development guy. He wasn't really a prominent figure in the Clemson passing game. He was always kind of playing third or fourth fiddle for most of his career there. You also have the Amador Lenore, the cornerback out of Oregon. He is more of a zone coverage. I like him kind of in the slot as well, which is what the Saints don't really need, but he is the best cornerback available. Let me see the other cornerbacks. Rashad Wildgoose out of Wisconsin, Wildgoose Jr.
That just sounded like a Wisconsin last name.
Yeah, right. Fantastic name. Yeah, okay. We got to go cornerback here. I think it's just too big of a need to not. Well, let me double check offensive tackle because I bet you Walker Little is still there. No, Walker Little got drafted. Wow.
Is Charles Snowden still there?
Oh yeah, that's right. You were gonna mention
that's
linebacker.
My guy. That's my. Might as well double down on linebacker if we need to.
Charles Snowden. Let's see. No, I don't see him available. When did he get drafted?
Good for him.
Exactly right. Let me see. Charles Snowden. Maybe he maybe even got drafted a long time ago. Yeah, Charles Snowden went 168 to the Vikings.
Good for him.
Wow. Yeah, very good for him. Okay, so yeah, this is tough. I think we got to go corner here.
Agreed.
So I'm just gonna do it because best guy. Hold on, let me double check. Oh, there's Avery Williams out of Boise State, which I know a lot of Saints fans like, but he is small. He's more of a special teams guy off the bat, and the Saints need somebody who can either contribute right away or at least play some backup minutes. But the only thing I don't like about picking Lenore here is that he is more of a zone guy, and the Saints do like to play man-to-man. But who's to say that, the Saints don't switch things up? Obviously, even after maybe Dennis Allen leaves after this season, and we'll still have Lenore, and we get a defensive coordinator who does run a lot of zone, would benefit us a lot. But I like Amir, and he's an Oregon guy, local for me at least. So
yeah,
gonna go here. Amador Lenore is going to be the draft pick here at 218th overall for the Saints. He's the 177th ranked on their predictive board here. So this is good value according to TDN. So I'm going to make that selection. Doesn't solve the cornerback position for the Saints, but because of the way the board fell, Mac Jones, Gibral Cox, kind of had to go with those guys. Cornerback was unfortunately put on the back burner. But the Saints are back up again at 229, only 11 picks later. However, I think wide receiver could be the move here. I think offensive tackle could be the move here. Let me see if there's any good tight ends left. Noah Gray out of Duke. He's not terrible. More of a... he can't block. He's more of a catching guy. And, Adam Troutman, I feel like, is going to be just fine for that.
Agreed.
For now, at least. So, I think if we were going to get... Nick Van Nett, signing him is going to be great for the backup kind of Josh Hill replacement. So, I don't really see any tight end right now that kind of do that. So, I think the move... Let's see best wide receivers. Cornell Powell, I really like him out of Clemson. He's just more of a... His potential is intriguing. Demetric Felton out of UCLA. He tested terribly. His RAS, which is I think it's the raw athletic score is what it is, but Math Bomb always puts out these RAS rankings. He had on a scale of 0 to 10, he had a 0.2 or something. It's one of the worst overall combine testing for a player ever. And it doesn't help that he's only 5'8.5", but his speed wasn't up to par. His bench pressing, broad jump, all of that just was not up to par with what he should have been testing. So that is kind of a red flag. It's tough though. Okay, Amir Smith Marset out of Iowa. I really like him. We talk about him often in my Saints group chat I have with Matthias and New Orleans Saints World. We really like him. I think that he'd be good value here. He's 6'2", 186. He is a very nice vertical pass set wide receiver, and I think that would complement what the Saints are looking for as well. I think he's the best wide receiver available in my personal opinion. And he's 189th on the board, and we're at pick 229. So regardless of who we go here, I think we're getting a good value pick according to TDN. What do you think? Do you want me to go over any position groups for you?
Man, I think we're at the point now where you try and just take the value with the pick.
Yeah.
So just whatever.
I like this.
No matter what position it is, I just think it's just a matter of best player at whatever pick you're at.
Yeah, I agree.
The value is just yeah.
So it's going to be the pick here, ISM as we like to call him, Amir Smith Marset, wide receiver out of Iowa, pick 229 for the Saints in this 2021 mock draft simulator at the Saints FPC podcast. I got to be honest, I'm not totally loving this draft right now, but I do like some of the value we're getting for these guys, and Mac Jones was just too good to pass up. So we're at pick 255, which is the second to last. Let's see who's available. Tight end and offensive tackle are the two needs left for the Saints. Oh, man. We could go cornerback again, and I wouldn't be mad because Tay Gowan and Avery Williams are still here, and they're two pretty solid cornerback prospects. Let's see. Offensive tackle. Nobody I love. Landon Young isn't bad, but value's not really there. Tony Poljan, tight end out of Virginia. I do like him. He's 6'7", 225. And I mean, he's a blocking tight end too, so he wouldn't be terrible. Let's see. Darn, this is tough. Do you want to double dip at cornerback, or do you think we should go tight end or offensive line? Let me see interior O line. You want to double dip at corner?
Double dip at corner.
I like it. I think
it's the least we can. At least the least we can do to. It's the least we can do.
Exactly. So
maybe we'll get lucky.
Maybe because I like going out of UCF. He's 6'2", 185. He's not really a press guy. He's more off, so... Or he's more of press than off, I should say. But it's tough. I haven't watched too much tape on him, so I actually don't know too much. Avery Williams, I have watched a lot of tape on. I like him. He's small. So, I mean, we already have kind of have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for that. Yeah, another nickel. I'm just going to go with Tay Gowan. He seems promising. Saints like to play press. It says that he is a cover 3 zone scheme guy. Man, this is tough, though. There's not really too many good guys but he's 210 on the board, so you know what? I'm going to take him. I think that's really good value.
Agreed.
For him. So, draft is over. Going to go over our picks again just real quick. Got Mac Jones at 28th overall. Got Gibral Cox there at 60th overall. Got Hamza Nasir-Ladin, safety out of Florida State there, 98th overall. You got Jay Tufele, interior defensive lineman out of USC there at 105, at 103, or at 133. Saints went with Patrick Jones, edge out of Pittsburgh. 218, you got Amador Lenore, cornerback out of Oregon. 229, Saints go with Amir Smith Marset, wide receiver out of Iowa. And then at 255, to finish everything off, Tay Gowan, cornerback out of UCF. We had to double dip at cornerback. So, yeah, those are the picks. I mean, I'm not too terribly mad with this draft. I wish the board would have fell a little better, obviously.
I wish somebody had picked Mac Jones before 28.
I wish somebody would have picked Mac Jones, too, because I would have loved JOK, and then that would have opened up a lot at 60. Exactly. So this was tough, but Mac Jones, especially like you were saying, Sean Payton does like him, so
he is high on him.
So it was really tough. So, yeah, I think I dig this draft. Well, I think we'll be able to do a better one the next time we do. Which, by the way, we will most likely have one or two more draft episodes. Yeah, at least at the bare minimum, it'll be 2. So hopefully we'll get a lot in. So yeah, I mean, I dig it. Now that we took up a lot of time doing that, I don't know, did you want to do another mock draft right now, or did you want to save that for another episode? I think the PFN mock draft would probably take another 30 minutes or so. So might want to save it for another episode. If you want to pack it in here, we could.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll wrap it up here, guys. Cool. And then later this week we'll have another mock draft episode with the Pro Football Network's version, and hopefully somebody in that one will overvalue Mac Jones and not leave us with the predicament of, do we take the quarterback knowing Drew Brees just retired and we have some question marks at the. But overall, I like that. I thought that was a very solid draft class. It's a little top heavy,
but at the very least, it addressed all our needs.
And this, just to get Mac Jones, who easily you could say he could be QB of the future. And Gibral Cox, who LSU has put out freaky athletic linebackers. Patrick Queen, Devin White. So to get him in 60, I feel like that was more pressing than to get a corner. So
I think so too. Yeah, especially with the unknown certainty of Quan Alexander. Almost sounds like he's going to be coming back, but again, who knows?
And with the torn Achilles so late in the year, you just don't know when he's ready.
Exactly.
Also, but yeah, that was great. That was a great mock day. I loved it. I cannot wait to do another one later this week.
Yep.
Having said that, we'll have this episode available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at SaintsFPC. We'd love to hear your comments. Give us your own mock draft. Who you like to see take the Saints take throughout the draft, and hopefully the next one we can do trades in it, right?
Yeah, the next one will be trades.
So that'll be interesting.
We'll either trade up or trade down. Depends on what we're feeling. We'll kind of let the board go a lot slower this time since there were no trades in this one. I just set the pace for the draft to fast, so everybody will just pick. And the PFN one will kind of go almost pick by pick, see if the Saints want to move up for anybody, what it takes to move up. And, we'll talk more about that in the next episode. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, that will be a blast. But, once again, that's going to wrap this episode up. And we'll have another mock draft episode come out later this week. So you guys stay tuned, stick around. And, again, please comment. We'd love to see your own mock drafts, what you want to see the Saints do. This is the Full Press Saints podcast signing off. See you guys next week. No. Day. Whatever. It will drop.
Yes.